This is a historic day for Johnson & Johnson. This is something that our board has deliberated about for some time, and we really believe that by separating our consumer business into a separate, publicly traded company, that it's in the best long-term interest of all of our stakeholders. Look, we realize this is a very unique time. If you just think of the changing dynamics and innovation and technology and markets and channels, and our goal is really to create two global leaders, a pharmaceutical and a medical device business that has great potential today, but very strong pipelines for the future. And of course, a consumer business that's got iconic brands, and we think we'll be well positioned to even have better focus around their strategy, around their execution, around their ability to allocate capital, and ultimately to accelerate growth and to touch more consumers around the world. So we're excited, and again, we think this represents a tremendous opportunity for all of our stakeholders.
Alex, you mentioned Veterans Day and thanking everyone who served. We should thank you as well. I know you went to West Point and were a captain. You were a captain in the Army before you kind of moved into your corporate career. So thank you for your service as well. When did this discussion start? How did it come about? When did you start thinking about this?
Well, Becky, look, we think this is a bold move. And it's one that has been a topic of discussion on our board of directors for some time. You know, it's important for iconic companies like Johnson & Johnson that, you know, in spite of the fact that we have been around for more than 135 years, to constantly challenge our strategy. And we've been having those discussions on a routine basis for over the past decade. But clearly over the past several years, when you just look at some of the underlying trends, this acceleration and innovation, particularly in our pharmaceutical segment, our medical device segment, when you take a look at these changing channels and really where our pharma and our medical device business tends to be much more of a business-to-business relationship in the way that we work through other intermediaries, you know, compared to the consumer business. And most importantly, where we see things going into the future, we feel that now is the right time to make this kind of a move. And again, ultimately, it's going to allow us to reach more patients, more consumers, have more innovation, and execute in a much more focused way.
How will the split work? I know that you are transitioning to executive chairman come the beginning of the year. I take it you'll be staying with the pharmaceutical and medical device company?
Yes. Well, as you can understand and appreciate, something like this is going to take some time. We're predicting it's going to take about 18 to 24 months. I'm going to be staying as the CEO through the end of this year, and I'm very proud to be handing off to Joaquin Duato as of January 3rd, but I'll be remaining as executive chairman. There's still a lot of details that need to be worked out on the exact timing, but the good news is, Beck, look, we've got a really deep bench of leaders here at Johnson & Johnson, and we think both these businesses are going to be well positioned. Joaquin will continue to be the CEO for the Johnson & Johnson, our pharmaceutical business, our medical device business. And we know we'll have the right leadership in place in our consumer business going forward as well.
This is one of the greatest brand names of all time. It's incredibly well known. Which of the two companies is going to keep Johnson & Johnson? Or do you brand both of them with Johnson & Johnson and run the risk of a little consumer confusion as there is with HP and HPC?
Well, our pharmaceutical business and medical business, our pharmaceutical business, our medical device business will be Johnson & Johnson. The name of the new company is yet to be known, but you're absolutely right, Becky. The consumer business as a standalone publicly traded company, think about it for a moment. It has more than 4 brands that are over $1 billion in sales. We have more than 20 brands that are more than $150 million in sales. And these are really iconic brands. Tylenol, Aveeno, Neutrogena, Listerine, Motrin, Benadryl. And we have a very strong pipeline. And again, we think by doing this, it's going to provide them with even more agility, a better opportunity for capital allocation, likely a way to even better configure their corporate versus the company structures, and ultimately accelerate growth and to reach more consumers.
Is the plan definitely to spin it off as a separate company, or the board is still considering that too?
Well, look, we're looking at all options, but our intent is to spin this off as a publicly traded company, yes.
And I take it the liabilities for the talcum powder cases that have come would go with the consumer business?
Well, look, this is really about the future. We've been very clear in all of our filings regarding the legal issues that you just mentioned. But this is about creating growth for the future in Johnson & Johnson and the new consumer company.